Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain. Thanks so much for joining us. That derailment took place in Sheraton County earlier this afternoon, and Amtrak says the train derailed after it hit a dump truck blocking a public crossing.
I'm from Mendon. I have always lived here, grew up here. The only time that I spent away from Mendon was actually when I was in college. Once I graduated, I came back here and started my teaching career, and I've been here ever since. Mendon is known for just being a very small, tight-knit community. Everybody knows everyone. Even if people move in that haven't always been here, then we take the time to find out who they are and what drew them to our town. And it's just, we have a lot of people that I can remember even from childhood that just have always been a part of Mendon.
My title is I'm the owner of Gabby Joe's.
I'm the manager. I'm her mother.
I'm from Sumner, which is close to Mendon. Grew up in Rothville, which is about 10 miles from here.
I live in Mendon and moved here from Rothville about 8 years ago. It's just a small community.
I'm mayor of the town of Mendon. Actually, that's right at the edge of the Swan Lake, and there's a lot of goose hunters and hunters that come through and have houses even in town.
The scene of the crash was down what we call the bottoms. My dad actually has farm ground down there. It was on a train crossing that it is very difficult to see. It's kind of at an angle, very sloped, and I know that generally anyone that crosses it generally does have to be very mindful of trains just because it kind of was at a dangerous crossing. So that morning I was at home. It was during the summer. I don't have a job in the summer. I'm just home with my two boys. So we were just hanging out at home and just spending time there, just playing at home.
It was just a regular day here at Gabby Joe's. It was close to lunch when we have a lot of first responders that come in and eat. I mean, they're just farmers, just people. All of a sudden they just started running out of the building, said there was a train wreck.
I probably was thinking about what I was going to have to do with when I go out to my farm, which we have a feedlot out in the country. I really don't remember who called me, but I would imagine it's from down here.
Well, I first heard of the crash. We have an elementary chat group, and somebody had put in there that they heard that there had been a Amtrak accident. So my first thought was to call my dad because he's a real mail carrier in the area, and knowing that that was farm ground down there, I just called him to see if he had heard, to make sure that it wasn't anyone that we knew that was involved. When I called him, he actually hadn't even heard about it yet. And then it wasn't just a few minutes later that we found out that they would be bringing passengers here to the school. And at that time, it wasn't a second thought. I knew I would come down here, but I didn't really know what to expect coming down here. At that time, we didn't know how many people were involved. We didn't know how many passengers were on the train. So it was more just a thought of shock. You wouldn't expect that to happen, but at the same time, we knew we just needed to get here and do whatever we could to help.
Someone had been hit, which usually determines probably somebody we know. And then that's been things just, all of a sudden people just started coming in, grabbing things off the shelf and needing water and supplies to go down there to the wreck.
Well, I was wondering where it was, and if it was going to involve if it was close enough, it was going to involve the town of Mendon.
When I first got here to this school, there wasn't none of the passengers had been brought in yet. There were some EMS that were setting up a triage area, and there were a few other people here. I fortunately live right here in town, so I was one of the first ones to get here. What I first started doing right off the bat was just making ice packs, trying to gather supplies. I don't have any medical background other than the yearly CPR and first aid training that we receive as a teacher, but I just knew that most likely we would need ice packs, Kleenexes, things like that. So I tried to just gather as many things as I could that I thought would be beneficial.
I never went down there. I never had time to go down there. People just kept saying there was a train wreck, but I didn't know how bad. I really didn't have any details for the first couple hours. And then information started coming in. All I know is that, we just started making sandwiches, and
We were going to have something for everybody on the plane or on the train to eat and go, and so we came down here so we could make sandwiches, and then later on I went and checked on a couple of places that they went to stay after they got out. They got them off the train.
It was a little difficult at first with the ice packs. We just tried to make as many as we could. Luckily, our kitchen was stocked with Ziploc bags and paper towels, and we have an ice machine in there, so we just used up as much as we could. Then whenever we started running out of ice, we had several businesses or individuals that were bringing in bags of ice, or they were unloading their own ice machines and bringing in what we could. A lot of first aid things. There were some various businesses that just sent what they could. We kind of cleaned out our school nurses' cabinets as much as we could, but I think we had most of what we needed at the time.
And when they said that they'd hit a truck, my first thought was might be a farmer or somebody that we know. It was somebody we knew, but it wasn't a farmer.
I knew several people that were happened to be on the train from Brookfield.
At that time, everyone was just, I think, very nervous. We didn't know what to expect. We knew that these people had been involved in a major accident, and we knew that they were going to be coming to the school. So I think we were nervous that we would be able to meet their needs. I think we were nervous as to their emotional state and maybe how we would be able to help them. So I think at that time we were just kind of just trying to do whatever we could until they arrived.
Everyone was frantic, scared, in a hurry, wanting to help.
What were the people's emotions? Well, I really didn't stop to think about that. We knew what we were going to have to do, and I have a grandson that is a first responder and a paramedic, and I figured he was at the wreck, and I wondered if I knew any of them, was because a lot of the people were from Brookfield on the train.
I think that it is amazing how everybody stepped in. I told several people that I wasn't surprised. The same people that came or sent supplies or helped would be the same that would help any individual. Yes, this was a major accident, but I think anything that happened, whether small or large, as an event, I think those same people will come out and help. I think it makes you feel very reassured that you live in a community that would help a stranger, because you know that those same people are going to help a community member just as easily.
Everybody responded with something they could do if they were in town or if they were concerned. There were some people that hadn't even known about it yet.
We had people coming and sightseeing. They wanted to see a community that could come together in that short a time, and have the school was set up, and I mean it was amazing what happened. in this community so quickly. And people were just amazed and wanted to see it, see what kind of, I mean, we had people for weeks, you know, coming and just wanting to see the town.